I really don't know. I really don't know what to say because I really don't try to get into it like that.
Understandable.
Because I truly believe that you could cry your heart out
Hmm.
to certain people, people in power, and your voice is unheard.
Very
And
true.
when people like yourself running for a position, it's a certain way you have to be. It's a certain look you got to uphold, or they don't look at you at all.
A lot of people don't understand that city council has a lot of power,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't understand that municipal local level elections affect us more than these big Congress decisions, these big headlines, these big Trump headlines, all these huge headlines that distract us from the local is not good, because the general local level decisions that people are making every day for us, we have no clue. We have no clue what's
Right.
going on. You tell the, even me, like me as an example, a couple months ago, a year ago, I didn't know what the city council did. I didn't know who they were, what people were running my city, like what were they about, what decisions were they making, how much power they have. I feel like we're put in this position to not know this information, so we won't create change. But
Right.
as soon as you know how easy it is to run and how easy it is to be elected, how easy it is to just step up and try to do it, then you're not that discouraged.
If you would ask me 5 years ago would I ever run for office, I'd say, "What are you, crazy? Are you smoking weed? What are you doing?" And watching what's happening now, and I think everyone can agree, we're not happy. Not happy at all. I mean, we have families against families now.
Through incarceration, they was controlling the vote because we outnumbered a lot of people that outnumber us now. We outnumbered them, so what they did was, it was like strategic planning. High school to prison, junior high school to prison, elementary school to prison. It wasn't that we was so bad, it was just, it controls the vote. And what I realize now that I done slowed down and I'm paying attention, voting is power. It's worth way more than money.
Black Lives Matter as an organization and as a movement are two totally different things. Okay, so now you have the organization that was founded by a few people. We're not going to get into the two specifics of those people, but there were two women, one black, one white, or one. Okay, so that's where the actual organization was founded. But the actual movement of Black Lives Matter, the movement of the people taking to the streets, the movement of people who are saying, you know what, because my life does matter, I'm willing to do what I need to do, i.e. run for city council. I have another guy we're working with, Mr. Eugene Weems. We have other groups that we're working with, and people are trying to do what they need to do in order to prove and show that our lives do matter. One of the main things that Priscilla said to me that got to me was the youth, her advocacy for the youth, that she wants to do something in her city specifically for the youth. And in light of Corona, all the different things we got, most people don't even talk about the kids. The kids aren't going to school. It's almost like we forgot about those people right now, you know? So one of the things that she said was, you know, we need to make sure the kids have something besides to aspire to grow up to work at Walmart forever. I mean, there's nothing wrong with starting there, but if that's the only thing that you can aspire to do is work at Walmart, work at McDonald's, well, we need better options for the youth, so we don't have a lot of the economic issues that we're having right now.
It's important that we get out. I don't care if you all on parole or probation, try it. Fill out these applications, sign up to vote, because we putting people in office that's putting us in jail. We have to start taking the power back with our voting. If they see us out here voting, they're gonna want to sit down at the table and they're gonna want to talk some sense. They just been radical with our lives. Look at everything that's been going on. George Floyd, our black women that's been killed. It's too much. Black lives matter. All lives matter. It's just right now, Black lives is at the top of the chart because the spotlight is on us. And us as blacks, we have to prove that we're worthy of this attention and start getting educated and start educating the younger so we can move forward.
I'm having a hard time with not getting angry that people are, no matter what you do, people try to, break you down. And it's like, I stood for my store. This is about a woman that said, I'm not going to let you come and loot my store because what you're doing has nothing to do with George Floyd. I come from Houston. You know what I mean? My brother knew George Floyd. So if we want to go, like, just start breaking shit down, it means more to me because he went to Yates. I used to go to summer school at Yates. Debbie Allen and all them went to Yates. I ain't heard them. But, so, yeah, they all went, right, they went to that school. My mother was the valedictorian of that school. So I have history. Houston, Texas, where he's actually from.
We have to work together, palms down. Because if we don't start getting involved, everyone out there that lives in the community, that loves their children, loves their neighbors, and what's happening in this political, I call it a political swill now. It's bad.
Yeah.
We got to make some change. We as citizens need to take back our rights. I'm done with what's happening in D.C. I'm done with what's happening here in our district in California.
So you're a Trump supporter.
You're
supporting him right now.
I
Okay,
think with
so
logic, not emotion.
let's
So
talk
I support
about-
whatever is right and whatever makes sense.
Let's talk about when they had that alt-right rally.
Okay.
And then the guy that ran over the people and killed
That
them.
was totally wrong.
And he was like, "Oh, they were right, and the other people, it was wrong on both sides." Like the other people didn't do shit, but just stand there and protest.
He's
and
not the best at explaining
The alt-right
himself or
people
saying the
were
right things at the
beating
right
people
time.
up
But
and
that
they
doesn't mean
ran
that certain
people
things
over.
that he's done.
So it was
doesn't-
bad on both
doesn't
sides.
Not make sense.
No, it was casualties on one side.
Right.
But how you gonna
He
back
does
that
not
up?
know how to talk and say things right, but that doesn't mean certain ideas that he has is wrong either.
But you asked me how he's racist. I just gave you a couple examples.
You said he's racist because of how he's doing them at the border, separating the families, not letting them go together. That makes him racist.
Definitely. Period. Because I ain't been done. That shit ain't been done. Nobody doing that shit. Period. The way that when he locked down the borders and didn't let nobody, even government officials that was Arab and all types of other races, not come back to the United States. Let's be real about this shit. All races, not just black. All races done felt the wrath of this dude, man. But enough talk about Cheeto Face, man. Let's go on to another one. Cheeto Face. Enough of Cheetos, man, please.
Enough of Cheetos.
Enough of the Cheeto Face.
Whatever the case may be, everybody has a right to agree with what they agree with and support who they want to support.
Y'all seen us got real political on Smoking Out Radio. Man, I don't like it. You know what I mean? I hate it. Say that shit for like the people that do that shit, man. We don't know nothing about
we
that
talk
shit,
about
really.
everything on all platforms. We talk about music, we talk about politics, we talk about all types of things.
But the Cheeto Face is a touchy situation, man.
But it has to be talked about
we
because
gonna
it might be
get
somebody
hate
that feels
mail,
the way you
all
feel,
types
might
of
be
shit.
somebody that feels the way I
if
feel.
Simone voted for Trump,
I didn't vote for
there's
Trump.
nothing wrong with that
I
because
didn't
she
vote for
felt
Trump.
I was the man for the
No,
job.
I just said some of his ideas I agree with. Like getting us that money back from China when they've been f***ing us for all these years. That made sense to me. Obama didn't do that.
Because of this and all that's going on, are you going to go to your representatives and say, this is Joe Biden? Before we vote you in, this is the list that we're looking for. If you want our vote, this is what we need to do. This is what you need to work on. And you go to and that's a lot of problems with our community. We don't understand government. A lot of people sitting up there saying, well, Obama didn't do nothing for it. I keep asking, well, what was he supposed to do?
I feel the same exact
What
way.
was he supposed to do? He was the first black president. Do you think everything was just going to be, changed? He didn't have a voice.
Someone did. But like you said,
He
nobody
did,
went,
no,
nobody
but you
went
got to
to-
remember the Republicans had both offices. If he put in something, they can tear it up and say, we ain't doing it. So what did you expect him to do? You go to your local, because you're
Local government.
so you got to understand
That means your mayor,
economics,
city
right?
councilman.
Right, and you go to people that can change laws within your city. We don't know this, but there's a lot of people that are really smart, and our representatives that have made and a lot of things. And I'm gonna flip it real quick. People that are in my position are political people. Bobby Seals is still alive. Go back to these people that back in the day that lived this. Ask them, where did we go wrong? What can we do to fix this? Go to your grandparents that lived and walked with Martin Luther King and say,
Yes,
you know what,
absolutely.
What are we doing wrong? This they have no guidance. They just doing whatever the there's no leadership at all.
And it's funny because I noticed a lot of leaders haven't even come out and spoke.
No.
Usually Al Sharpton, he was on
Be
TV.
like-
Oh, after- I saw him. I saw
But he
him.
on some other stuff. But like what you say, I think people forget that it is the people over the government. But since we don't know, we don't trust them no more, and that's what it really is. Especially, you know, in the hood, they don't trust the government. So a lot of for them to go vote, it's almost like, well, what are they gonna do for us?
Right.
But that's where nobody is educating us on, well, this is what they'll do if you guys go vote. You know what I mean? He did a video last year that was important because he voted and he had to show like, hey, look, I'm an ex whatever, but I'm voting. Y'all can vote. Some people that ex-con, they don't think they can vote. I didn't even know I can vote because I've been in jail before. So I was like, oh, I thought it was over once. It's a lot, thousands and thousands of people of like that don't think they can vote, that can vote.
But the thing that we learning now, the ones that's out here, is how important voting is. See, we never understood this voting thing until we got later into our years and we kind of lost control of the situation with our youngsters.
I'm now a registered voter. Yeah. I've been voting since I've been home. Yeah. And I vote. Your vote does count. Please don't be manipulated and sidetracked and come to believe, I ain't gonna do that. If you're not on parole or probation actively now, you can come register to vote. So you don't have to come here today, but register to vote so you can vote in the election.
Yeah, and a lot of people just look at the presidential election. But what about voting for who gonna be the chief of police, voting for mayor, council, mayor, I don't care, a speed bump in your neighborhood because people been tearing down the street at doing $1.50, you know what I mean, and there's kids outside. I just think it's real important to vote on many levels, on the local level, the statewide level. Just vote. Have your voice be heard, because a lot of black people especially died and fought that fight for us to have the right to vote.
We need more black officers.
We do.
Because especially that grew up in say San Bernardino, grew up in LA. Because if you know the people you're working with, you're dealing with, you're not going to have that much resentment from the people that you pull over.
Right.
If people know who they're dealing with, people of their own kind or whatever, however they want to choose to word it, it would be a better thing.
And I was just walking in the store, minding my own business, and he said, Reggie. He said, hey, Reggie. Well, everybody call me Little Reggie. Little Reggie. He said, man, I just want to tell you thank you. He said, man, you caught me with some dope on Macmillan. I remember it was on Macmillan Street, over Dave and them house, in front of Dave and them house. They were hiding all the cocaine up under their watch. At the time, that's how they was. And he said, man, and his mama came, because he was a juvenile. He was like 16, 17. His mama came over there crying and then started beating him while I'm got him in handcuffs and everything. Started beating him. And I took the handcuffs off of him and just say, you know what, go home with your mama, because she gonna do more than you. And he said, but he said ever since then he had messed up. He said he been on the straight path and all of that. So my point to saying all of that is, sometimes you just, give the spirit of the law. You never know how it's going to work out for somebody.
If we had our own people, just say if we wanted to police our neighborhoods, we ain't going to do it.
You couldn't even if you tried.
Yeah, we couldn't.
No, we actually can. So we have to stop saying what isn't possible.
Oh, well,
So
I mean,
how do we police our own hood?
I mean, we
our own
couldn't.
neighborhood?
I say we can't, only because most of the police officers working in our own cities don't live there.
Right.
So,
So what we can do is for instance, you look at certain cities, certain municipal levels, they've already started to locally elect to defund the police. Okay, so you have some cities.
That's good?
I do believe that's good, because
let me get a better definition. Of defund the police.
So let's break down just defund. To defund means to take away and reallocate funds of. That's all it is. Redirect. So it doesn't mean that you will not be funded at all. It just means that I'm going to defund you. Means I'm going to take away some of your funds. Now, how much, that's subjective. We haven't got there yet.
Right.
But
Defund does not mean abolish.
Defunding the police, you can't. There's always going to be police.
No, it's trying to
but you got to
redirect
get rid
the
of that
brand.
union. You got to get rid of these $1 million pensions. You got to get rid of us paying for they cases, because when we sue them and we take them to court, we paying that out of our tax dollars. They don't pay that out of their pension, their money, none of that.
I got a question, right?
So
how do you
that's
feel,
why they don't give a
how do you feel about an officer that has done his job right?
I feel great.
That doesn't have any history of police brutality.
I feel
How
great.
do you feel about him not getting his pension because?
No, you don't need no $1 million pension.
Why
you
not?
Need, you
If
need,
you're risking
you
your
need
life
no, you
every
need
day.
Social Security like everybody else. Period. That's a job. You need Social Security
Even
like.
people that work for MTA can get $1 million pension.
I don't give a. Cops don't need no $1 million pension. It's a hustle. It's a lick. That's why they quit and retire so fast. You see the one that let you, I quit. That's $1 million.
I don't agree with that one though.
I do agree with it.
If you think about
It's
it, right?
a lick. It's
but
a lick.
everybody's not in it for that. Some people
It's a
really
lick.
become
No.
officers to protect and serve. Some do. You can't say that all of them. Is
I don't
like
give
that.
a fuck. You don't deserve $1 million. So how is this?
To risk
How,
your
hold on. How are you getting paid more off the force when you on the force? I'll wait because you're getting paid $84,000 a mother year compared to getting paid to $30,000 to $60,000 a year. You getting paid an extra $20,000 to $30,000 a year, or $40,000 a year with your pension. How you getting paid double when you not working? That don't make sense. They're getting overpaid.
So basically, give them a raggedy car and a raggedy gun, get out there and go to work.
Pretty much, so to speak, basically. But the difference in this is we're working on a lot of different frameworks, and we're working with a lot of different people on this. So coming up, what I believe is like you just said, growing up in Compton, it was always the white boys who came in there and they already had a certain type of mentality.
Right.
So I believe that in part of this defundment of the police, what we really need to do is make the demographic of your city, your police department should look something similar to that. So if let's say Fontana, it's almost like 78% Latino.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then 78% of the police department needs to be Latino.
Right.
Why the military ain't protected like that? Why the veterans that come home don't got pensions, don't got no medical, don't got none of that shit?
Because I believe at a point in time it used
They
to
only
be they
get-
could draft you, but
Oh
now
my
it's
God.
voluntary.
Yeah, whatever.
So-
They risk their life just like the police.
This
Why the
is true.
veterans ain't got $1 million pensions?
No, they
I'll
should.
wait.
They should have
They
it
don't.
as well.
They don't. Why the Army don't? All right then. So this shit is a militarized lick.
So how much you think that pension should be? 500,000?
No, I think they should get Social Security like everybody else. Whatever they work for, nigga, you get that. Period. How many ever years you work, you get that. You get your 401k just like everyone else, nigga. What make you bigger than anyone else, bruh? You took that risky job. Risky jobs pay more.
Look what happens when you start working with the city. You become part of the bureaucratic monster, the bureaucratic machine, okay? Not only do you get medical and benefits for you get it for your immediate family. And when you retire out, like the reason why Fontana San Bernardino went bankrupt is when PD, fire, and a few other places were retiring. They were retiring these guys out at their highest grossing year, providing medical for you, your wife, and your children for life. So you got guys who were coming straight out of the academy, 17, 18 years old, putting their 20 in, getting out at 40 years old, and now you got to pay these guys $180,000 for the rest of their life now, plus provide medical benefits for them and their families. He's 40 years old and he's in good health. How long do you think he's gonna last?
You get paid more while you working. And you get Social Security and 401k off of that. Why should you be special? Out of our tax dollar. Why should we pay for your cases when you fuck up and shoot somebody and they sue the mother county for $5 million? Why we gotta pay for that? All of that is wrong. Fuck that. Now fuck they pension.
So we're defunding the police. If you take their resources from them, what happens when somebody called and said my son just got shot? When you have an accident on the freeway, they already saying they're not responding to certain things already. They're trying to show you that you defund us, we ain't coming.
Okay,
what
so
happens if they
that's a
don't come?
scare tactic that they're using. So fear mongering is one of the greatest tactics of the state. Okay, the state loves the fear monger. So one of the things we have to realize is this. The reason why we even want to defund the police is because a lot of times the police their intervention is not required. All right, so for instance, let's just say the police are called because a man who, let's say he's 5150, he's documented schizophrenic or something to the effect of that. Well, why are the police called?
They don't know how to de-escalate
They don't
people
know how to
with mental
de-escalate that
illness.
situation. For
Right.
instance, let's say, like you just said, an accident happens on the freeway. Why are the police the first people to arrive? Why is the CHP the first ones to arrive? When you're not medically trained, the first ones who should have got there should have been the paramedics, the actual authorities that are needed, that are warranted. So, and when you say defund the police, The scenario I like to use is in our public school systems, they've made schools and teachers work for the last 20 years defunded. They've made our public schools consistently function with a consistent decreasing budget for the last 20 years.
We talking school and we talking street.
So no,
we need the police on the street because
we need
there's
our
so much
schools.
shit.
We need our schools for our youth.
We do too. We really do.
If we had more schools and more things for our youth, we wouldn't need as much policing.
Because the kids wouldn't be in the streets.
The kids wouldn't be in the streets. You take, for instance, affluent areas. They have resources. They don't have more police there.
No.
They have less police forces. You know why? Because the people have resources. They're not selling drugs. They're not doing all of the different unscrupulous activities because there's a multitude of resources.
We're talking about our neighborhood,
so
where we don't have.
So what we want to do.
Where we have crime. Where we have shootings.
So you know what we're going to do?
We have robberies.
Very easily. If we started implementing resources for Pookie and Ray Ray to do. Pookie and Ray Ray out there shooting each other because they selling dope. Most people ain't really gang banging no more like that. Few places, but I'll tell you in San Bernardino, they're not shooting each other over colors. They're shooting each other over turf. It's all about turf battles now. They want the block so they can sell it, so they can get their money. That's what it's all about now. So if we can provide something for Pookie and Ray Ray, where you can really make some bread, bro, come on over here. I got you. Let me teach you some shit that I'm gonna really help you with a skill to get actual pay for your family.
I need Pookie and Ray Ray to come to the house and paint that mother.
Come on.
We need a pack of all these millionaire niggas and put money into the politicians that we won't change. Cause you ain't gonna get if you don't support these campaigns, they ain't doing shit for you.
Yeah, cause taking Miss Butterworth off the box and Miss Aunt Jemima off the box ain't helping the cause.
Ain't gonna work. You gotta put
Uncle
money
Ben
into these
and all
campaigns.
that shit. It's too
That's
late.
why
I still want some rice.
Bro, let me land, nigga. Uncle Ben, I'm landing on some real shit, nigga. They not gonna change no regulations or no shit for you unless you put in on the money. All these corporations are being looked out for because they pitched in. They paid for the campaign. They put money in. If you don't put no money in, they ain't with you.
What about the white boy that's paying for the Black Lives Matter shit? That money
I
that's
don't
behind
give
him.
a fuck about him. He ain't that shit ain't that's just destruction. That's causing chaos and division. That's not making no laws and shit turn. You got Trump in there talking about he ain't talk about shit. That police reform shit that he did wasn't
No. He didn't talk about shit. He started talking about the stock market, jobs, and other shit, and Obama. That nigga said he put more money into the police yesterday.
If you
listen to the damn speech, he gave them some more money and just said direct it this way. It ain't a defund. He gave them more and said, you know, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this, right?
We're gonna just do this then.
Right.
And it's a certain word they did for the chokehold. Unrestricted or it's some little word
insulated, whatever, whatever the f***ing word it was. Basically, they can do it if they life in danger. He didn't change no rules for their ass.
No,
we don't have a pact. The white people have a pact. Them KKK motherfuckers, they got a pact that's gonna put their money in, pay for this shit to win, and they gonna get they demands met. That's where we at. You got all these millionaire, billionaire black people. Let's form that coalition that could get our shit passed by the government.
One of the ways that we're going to be rest assured, and this is what I told Priscilla, you know, she has my 100% undivided, you know, attention and help and support. So one of the things that we emphasize is we're grassroots. Okay, so we don't accept any big dollar donations, and we're selective of who we accept money from. So we don't accept money from certain organizations. We don't. And the reason why we don't do this is to assure the people we're not going to switch up on you.
Exactly.
The most you can donate to us is $250. All right, that's it. A grassroots campaign. So we're not accepting, you know, $5,000-$6,000 because if this company gives us $5,000, but you only gave me $10-$20, why do you believe I'm going to do what you want opposed to the people who's giving me all the money that I want?
Right.
So I'm going to let you know I'm policing
ain't
myself.
That's politics, though, ain't that the way it
That
goes?
is, but that's the way it used to go. So that's called crony capitalism. So we're going to put an end to crony capitalism and nepotism. You know, your homies getting your homies in and all this money that changes elections. What Bernie Sanders did, he raised more money than anybody in a presidential election, and he did it by grassroots campaign.
I don't think it's about winning or losing. I think it's about just creating this, I want to say, this scandal, you know, like, oh, she's running. Oh, you can run for city council. Oh, you can do this. How old is she? 24. A lot of younger people like myself, and even people younger than me, like Generation Z, they don't know that it's very, very simple to run. All you have to do is be 18, register to vote, and be a resident of your city. And this goes for every city.
18?
18. And nobody knows this information. Nobody tells you this information because they don't want us to know. So it won't be that easy for us to take these people out of their position of powers.
So you had to have some kind of degree, though, don't you?
No, not at all. You don't even have to you don't need a degree to be president. You don't have to go to school. You don't need anything. You just need to be a certain age. There's a few criteria that you have to meet, and most people, we're just not privy to this information. We just don't know it.
Exactly.
So, when they say we the people, that's really what they meant by this. We the people.
Right.
Meaning that we are the government. Once you're 18, once you can vote, you are the government if you choose to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Should you choose to be.
Right.
And a lot of what happened in the black and the brown community is we just didn't choose to be. As growing up, we all played cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, but because police got a negative stigmatism, we don't want to be cops.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk to the police.
I'd rather be an Indian.
I'd rather be exactly.
Or the chief.
Hopefully, this will get out what Long Beach City is doing, and I'm sure it's other cities out here, Watts, Compton, Los Angeles, Inglewood, who's going to get their stuff rolling, and then it'll be like, look, we taking care of our own, policing our own, and this is how it starts with the youngsters coming out, because you always got an up and coming generation coming, and it starts from showing them what to do. Because when I was coming up in Compton, we didn't have anything going on like this. If we did, I didn't know about it, but
Right. So, one thing I learned from my dad, we go fishing. He said, son, don't bring your fishing pole. Don't bring your hook. We're going to cast the net. So what we need to do, when you cast the net, you gather more fish. So that's what we want to do.
Oh, that's free game right there.
City council, how much power do you have?
More power than people realize. So they're actually in charge, obviously side to side with the mayor, of where the city budget goes. So for example, in Fontana, we have a budget around $100 million for the city.
Okay.
And so Fontana PD gets 60 million of that. And whatever's left over,
Almost 66, yeah.
almost 65 now. They upped it. So whatever's left over is like, that's for your schools, that's work it out, you guys share that. And Fontana PD gets 65 million.
Do they need that much money?
That's what we're saying. And when we talk about defund the police, we're not talking about taking all of their money. We're talking about 5%, 10%, a little bit. Like, can you give us a
Under the
little?
impression when they said defund the police, it's like get rid of the police. If
No.
you got rid of the police, it'd be more crime than the law.
No, because
in certain places that'll work. So you take Seattle, Washington, where they had Chaz, they had the little autonomous zone, and they kicked the police out of like a 11 block area for a couple months, and it was pretty cool. That can work in those places. That wouldn't work in Compton. That wouldn't work in San Bernardino. Like we understand that. We know that. So we're not saying, for instance, totally defund the police as far as to abolish. Now, when we say abolish ICE, that's what we mean. We mean abolish ICE.
Right.
We mean get rid of that whole organization as a whole. That's exactly what we mean. But we mean defund the police because we do need some police. I do believe in a community policing.
Right.
Let's just say, for instance, something happened in the hood. Nacho and them, not to put nobody on blast, but somebody who knows you, respects you. He over there tripping. He would listen to you before he would listen to the police come in to tell him to stop drinking and turn his music down or whatever the case may be.
Right.
You could be a community activism, something like that. When
Neighborhood watch.
Something happened in the community, when they call, hey, we got a problem, they know they're going to call Unc James first.
Call James and let's see if he can talk.
Let's see if he can come talk some sense into this boy or whatever.
Right there.
De-escalate the situation.
Because I'll listen to you first. I'm over there tripping with my baby mama or something. The police come, it's going to be a bad situation just by how they're trained.
Right.
But you're going to be like, nephew, listen to me. Whoop, de whoop, whoop, come on, nephew. Right. And you know what to do. You're going to de-escalate.
Right.
Because like you said, we know each other. But we're not in these positions of authority or power to make you feel like you have to listen to me. You coming over like you siding with me like, nephew, I'm listening to you because I love you and respect you. You my uncle. That's family.
Right.
We don't know these people coming into our communities telling me I got to obey. Who the are you? Why do I have to obey you?
Right.
You know, but I got history with you. I got a rapport with you, you know. And like we confuse people a lot, you know, when I call you unc. People, oh, that's your uncle? And I'm like, well, you gotta understand how the black community work. Like we got a history, a rapport.
Respect,
That's my uncle through respect and love. Like,
Right.
you know, through what we've been through. So but that's what we need to get to.
We on the line for real.
Yeah, that's what we is out here.
What our face cover look like? And look, I'm next to a bank, and I'm on, man. Don't get me started.
If Trump offered you $20 million to sing "I Got 5 on It" at his inauguration, would you do it?
What you talking about? 20 M's? Nigga, the f- you talking about? Nigga, I got 5.
Nigga, I would be on
that
stage
shoulda
with
be-
your ass.
That should have turned into.
Phone, let's get key.